Hey guys, so I'm gonna try to keep this super short because I've tried uploading a video about my birth story for about 2 weeks now, and it hasn't been uploading because it's too long. So I'm probably gonna end up doing a couple of them, different parts, like part 1, part 2. So I'm gonna try to keep it as short as I can so that they can actually upload, and so you guys can know what happened the day that I gave birth. So I am 3.5, almost a month postpartum. I gave birth to my daughter on September 7th, 2014 at 2:34 in the morning. So I woke up on September 6th at 5 in the morning, and I went to the bathroom for my regular pee run, and when I wiped, I saw that there was blood. So I thought it might be my bloody show, but I wasn't 100% sure because I'm a first-time mom. So I called the after hours for my doctor, and the nurse that picked up told me that they were going to try to contact my doctor. My doctor would contact me back in 20 minutes. If she didn't call me, then to just call them back. But my doctor didn't call me. By the way, I don't like my doctor because if y'all remember, she's the one that I was always saying, oh, everything's normal. So if she would have called me back, she would have been like, don't worry about it. But what I did was I called the hospital, labor and delivery, and I asked them if I should go in because I was bleeding. And then they said, if you want, you can come in, or you can wait till your doctor's office opens and talk to them first. So my doctor's office opened at 8, so I waited till 8. I called them and told them I was bleeding and if I could come in. And then they asked me how far along I was. I was 38 weeks exactly. So they sent me straight to labor and delivery. They're like, Jed, don't bother coming here. Just go to the hospital. So I grabbed all my stuff just in case I didn't come back. Hospital bag, baby bag, my husband's hospital bag, everything. And we headed out. We picked up my mom because my mom wanted to be there for labor. Just in case I did go into labor, she was like, I'm coming. So we picked her up and then we left. So they admitted me they were just going to do, I was just there for observation. I was just there for observation for 2 hours. They said they were going to keep me for 2 hours. So doctor came in, they did all the regular. They strapped me up to monitor baby's heartbeat, and they checked if I was dilated, and I was 2 centimeters. The bleeding was my bloody show because I wasn't dripping blood. It was just there when I would wipe. And they did an ultrasound to make sure the baby was head down. She was head down. She's been head down since 27 weeks, I think. Since I checked at 27 weeks, she was head down. Yeah, so what they did was they said, okay, take a walk for an hour around the hospital. And if you progress, we'll keep you and you're going to have your baby soon. If you don't progress, you can go home. But they were almost positive that I wasn't going to progress. And they all said it, but you're more likely to go home. And I was excited because I was like, yes, I get to go home and have like my last meal, like come in full, like when I do start having contractions, take a shower, drink, because I get really thirsty. So I went for a walk for an hour around the hospital in my hospital gown. And when I came back, the nurse checked me, and I was already at 4 centimeters. So she's like, okay, you're not going anywhere, you're staying. So I stayed. They switched me over to my other room, and they hooked me up to an IV, and they hooked me up to Pitocin. So what happened was, she hooked me up, she left the room, and 2 minutes later, all these nurses start running in the room. Turns out that my baby's heart rate had dropped dramatically. They even scared me. They come rushing towards me. They strap on a oxygen mask and they flip me over to one side, and the baby's heart rate wasn't coming back up, and then flip me over to the other side, and finally started coming back up, and then she was stable. And then they left me like that for a little bit, and then a couple hours later my doctor came in to check up on me, and I was still at 4 centimeters. So they tried to put me on Pitocin again, but because they figured the Pitocin was what made my baby's heart rate drop dramatically. So what they did was they started off slowly. 2 minutes later, same thing happened. All these nurses come rushing into my room and start flipping me from side to side. So baby wasn't reacting well to the Pitocin. So I didn't have the Pitocin to help me, with my labor or to progress fast. So I had to labor on my own, which sucked because I was laying down. And if they would have just let me walk a little longer, maybe I would have progressed faster. So I had a 17-hour labor, which, I guess isn't that bad for a first-time mom, because I hear that a lot of moms are there for like 2 days and stuff, and 17 hours was more than enough for me. So my doctor came in to check up on me, because at this point I wasn't on any medication, any epidural or anything. So he came in to check up on me, how my pain was doing and everything. By the time he came in, they checked me and I was 5 centimeters at that point, and I was already there for about 5 hours. And at that point, I was already crying. I couldn't do it. I lasted 5 hours without the epidural. I tried because I was trying my best to go for an unmedicated birth, but I just couldn't do it anymore. I started breaking down, and I told the doctor to get me the anesthesiologist because I needed the epidural, because I just could not. I tried to breathe through them. I tried so hard, but I just couldn't. But once I got the epidural, it was like the best decision of my life, because all the pain went away and I just felt like calm and like less anxious, and it just stress-free. It was so nice. I wish I would have gotten it sooner, but I didn't. Maybe for next time. So I got the epidural at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Mind you, I was there since 9 in the morning. So that's how slow it was progressing. It took me 5 hours to progress 1 centimeter. And okay, so the epidural happened at 5, and then my doctor came in at 6 and broke my water because my water wasn't breaking. So they broke my water. I didn't feel it because I was all numb. It felt nice. And from there, at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I would progress maybe like half a centimeter every 2 or 3 hours. That is how slow it went. Let's see. They kept checking me every 2 hours, so by I would say by 11 or 12, I was at 8 centimeters, and that's where it started hurting. I was starting to feel the contractions, but not necessarily in my abdomen. I was starting to feel them behind my thighs, like right under my butt, which hurt so bad because it felt like a cramp. So I kept pressing for more of a dose of the epidural because it gave me a little remote. And I could only do it every 15 minutes, which I wish I could have done it every minute, because I was still starting to feel it, and I think it was because I was on my side. Because if I was on my back, baby's heart rate would drop. So I was not allowed to lay on my back, so I was always on the side. So, but it started getting bad. Like the contractions started getting bad around 8 centimeters, and then around 2 in the morning, the doctor came back in to check me, and I was at 10. I was at 10 centimeters. I was like, oh yes. But the reason I got 10 centimeters, they said, was because they switched me over to my other side. Because at 8 centimeters, I was on my right side, my left side, and this whole time I was on my left side. But when I started feeling the contractions in my thighs, I felt like I should be switched over to the other side. I just didn't feel comfortable anymore. So I asked my doctor to switch me over. So they switched me over, and then I just dilated so quickly. Like in 2 hours, I did the 2 centimeters. When in like 15 hours, I only did like 5 centimeters. So they said because it was probably because they switched me over, it helped me progress faster. So I started pushing at around 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was so tired, you guys. I didn't sleep because I was scared. I don't know why, but in my head I was like, I can't fall asleep because what if I don't wake up? I'm being honest here. So I didn't sleep. The nurse did tell me that you should have slept. The epidural was your chance to sleep and get rest and get energy. And I didn't and I had no energy. So like they wouldn't let me drink any water. I was just on ice chips. So I was really thirsty. I hadn't ate anything since I left the house in the morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. And it's a good thing I ate. I wasn't going to eat because I thought I was coming back. But I just ate a bowl of cereal. So I was really hungry. So I was weak. So I started pushing at 2. And I started feeling the pressure. I'm pretty sure some of you have heard that it sounds like you have to take a giant poop. And it's true. It really is like you have to take the biggest poop in the world. You really do. And even though I had the epidural, I felt it. It wasn't pain. When I started pushing, it wasn't painful. It was just a lot of pressure. So it was literally like I felt something trying to push through. So I started pushing. I pushed for like 15 minutes in the same room that I was in. And then they told me to stop pushing. And I have heard stories about this. I have heard stories where women, their doctors tell women, like, okay, stop pushing now. You can't. At least I couldn't. There was no way. Like, you just feel the need to push. There's no way I could stop. They told me don't push anymore because they were going to transfer me over to my to the delivery room. And I pretended I wasn't pushing, but I was pushing because I couldn't help it. I just kept going. So they switched me over. When they were taking me over to the other room, they did take my epidural off. So I didn't have the epidural while I was giving birth. So I don't know why they took it off. But like I said, it wasn't painful. I think it was adrenaline that also helped me a lot. But it wasn't painful like with contractions and stuff. It was just a lot of pressure. So I pushed for another 15 minutes in the delivery room, and the baby wasn't coming out. But because the baby was already having heart problems with her heart rate dropping, they needed to get her out as soon as possible. So first thing that happened was they cut me. So I had an episiotomy, and at that moment it didn't hurt. But let me tell you, the recovery process is a real, I don't know if I should cuss, but it sucks. It sucks so bad. But yeah, they cut me, and that still didn't help. I was so tired that every contraction I had to push 3 times. And the first one was a really good one. The second one was, and the third one just sucked. The third one was just really bad. And the reason for that was because I had no more energy. Like I said, I didn't eat, I didn't drink, I was dehydrated. I felt dehydrated. It probably wasn't, but I felt dehydrated. So, the second thing that happened was, since she wasn't coming out and her heart rate was dropping, they had to, I had a vacuum-assisted birth. So, I didn't see what it was, but my husband said that it looked like this little circular thing that they put on top of the baby's head, and then it looked like a string, and then just pulled her out. So when she was born, she had a giant cone head, and like she had like red spots, like poor baby. But she's healthy now, so we're all good. But yeah, they took her out, and they started massaging my stomach, like pushing down on it, and let me tell you, that was more painful than giving birth. I'm gonna be so honest with you. That hurt so bad because they were pushing, and like trying to get the placenta to go out, and then like the doctor put her hand in and took out. The placenta slipped out, and then she put her hand in, and I saw like these giant blood clots or like tissue, or I don't know what it was, but she took it out, and then they kept massaging my stomach to get the more fluid out. Oh, it was so bad, you guys. And then after that, they started stitching me up, which I felt, and it really hurt. It really hurt. I felt like the pulling and the pinches, and it was so bad. I'm gonna continue on part 2. Don't worry, I'm gonna be right where I left off.